have any fun memories of that, Luke, of the physical bill? That is there has there been any really loud moments at the end for you?
Oh yeah, just my dad like
Yeah.
insisting that he pays this time, and oh, you paid last time, and back and forth, and
Yeah.
he's like, because he's really insistent that he'll pay, and he'll cover the cost, and even now, like he'll pay for me. Like we'll go out at a restaurant every so often. Like the recent trip to Sydney that we did to watch the footy last year for an interstate game, like he paid. And I said, oh,
Yeah.
I'll pay. He's like, no, I'll pay. So like that still carries on.
Yeah.
All these years later at 28. It's unbelievable.
Yeah. Yeah. No, definitely. We can't, it's in our blood. We always, we want to pay, want to help out. It's just an Italian thing.
It definitely is. And seeing that this restaurant, Johnny, Vince, and Sam's Ristorante, is in the heart of Lygon Street, so often we'd hear all the best stories of feeling the culture of Lygon Street. But I do know, and I have experienced recently, that it has changed. What do you
Yeah.
think of Lygon Street these days, Jezza?
Yeah, definitely. It's has changed a lot. Been obviously been brought up in a big Italian family, going to Lygon Street. It has changed from my younger years to now, going to the Italian festivals. Italian festival in Lygon Street was definitely great on the calendar of the year. He's going to the festival and experiencing food over there, and everything, all the restaurants and the people and the entertainment and the singing. It was always a big part in Lygon Street. But I feel like there still is the festival, but I feel like it has changed, where I feel that there should be more Italian restaurants as well. Feel like it in some way it has maybe died down a little bit. What do you think, Luke?
I definitely think more of the same. I don't think I really was part of the Lygon Street festivities growing up. Maybe because it was a bit far away and it was always very busy, so it's probably hard to even get a spot at Lygon
Yeah.
Street. But it definitely, from all the stories I hear, it's like, oh, used to be so Italian driven, and now it's like so much different variety. I don't think the variety is the problem. I think now what you see through Lygon Street walking down, it's quite deplorable. Like you go down and then you see like these big hooker shishas out
Yeah.
out in the middle outside, and it's like, fuck, our grandparents would have a stroke seeing that shit.
Yeah. 100%. No, it has changed. Like you said, it has, and it's sad. But hopefully it can pick up again. There is different kind of venues now in Lygon Street. Like you said, it's quite interesting. And it always used to be and it still is in a way, a meet up point of meeting people as well. But like I said, it has changed. The Italian driven aspect has changed, as you mentioned. Having the restaurant there that I went to, Sushi Mango's restaurant, has definitely picked it up as well. Brought that real Italian character back to life there.
Yeah, and that's one of the main reasons why the trio started that restaurant, because they've even said that it has died down. So they're wanting to bring that character back.
Yeah.
And good on them. There still are a couple of good restaurants at Lygon Street, like Italian restaurants. But I think that the last experience I had at the end was like a pretty crappy end, because we went to so I met up with a couple. It was like double date. The pasta was all right in a carbonara. It was probably a bit too much cream on there, but yeah, it was okay. then we decided to go to Brunetti, which is the classic in Italian.
Yeah.
The lots of varieties in the sweets and in the modern space.
Yeah.
But I found it was very packed. There weren't nearly enough tables and seats for all the people that were standing there ordering behind ordering food, like takeaway food, and what I decided to get was like tiramisu, which is meant to be the most classic of Italian dessert. Mate, it was shit.
Yeah.
It was like absolutely nothing like the tiramisu that we would typically know and love growing up, or even get at some restaurants. I don't know what they put in there, but it was in this small little plastic cup, and it was crap. It was shit out. So I was complaining about it the whole drive home.
Yeah. It is interesting. In some ways you'll just never beat the home the homemade sweets at home that the Italians make, whether that's homemade cannoli or tiramisu, as you mentioned. Sometimes you just can't beat it. Making it yourself, and learning from your family. So it definitely hits different when it's homemade, does it?
Look, it definitely is, and it's not to say that some restaurants can't produce more of the same of homemade. Like we obviously got that Sushi Mango restaurant, and again, there are still some good restaurants. And the one place I know that has really good tiramisu is called Cella Bar in Grossi Florentino Italian restaurant in Melbourne. That is in the CBD, so you do got to go all the way to the city to enjoy that. But it is still out there. My mate actually suggested that I get the tiramisu for dessert because he arranged us to meet up there like a couple of years ago. And I had my hesitation because it's obviously not going to duplicate homemade, but that was the best tiramisu I'd ever had outside of home at Grossi
Yeah.
Cellar Bar. So it can still be done, and quite often a good Italian restaurant that I would often go to was Emporio Pizza and Pasta within the Crown complex
Oh,
in
yeah?
Melbourne, inside
Yeah.
the casino. The first 4 Valentine's Day dinners between my wife and I, we would go there. It was absolutely fantastic. It was great price, great food, a great atmosphere. And so unfortunately, they shut down now. But you're always able to get a seat. And once I did find out that they no longer operating, mate, I was shattered. I thought, where am I going to go now?
Yeah. It's,
Um,
especially when you have a favorite place, and they stop operating, it hurts.
yeah. So, what do you think are the best Italian restaurants nowadays? Then, Jezza.
Oh, good question. Here's a good question. Back in the day, it was La Boquetta. There was one it's called Pizzeria. Pizzeria is really nice, so really good pizzas. That's probably one of my favorite at the moment. So great range of pizzas when it comes to meat lovers or your classic margarita, even got the classic Hawaiian, but it's got all the pizza with the lot as well. It's got everything on there. So Pizzerias was a good one that I really enjoy it, at the moment. I think it's got the pizza with a lot, but it's got all the different varieties. It's even got the seafood pizza as well.
Oh, I love
Yep.
that.
Yeah, you gotta love it, with the prawns and it's just to die for. So that's probably my favorite at the moment.
Yeah, no, that's really good. You're talking about these pizzas. It reminded me of my most recent experience going to the Mordialloc Beach, and that's a great spot. There are a few degenerates that do hang out on the pier sometimes, but if you go at a good time when there's no trouble, you can really enjoy yourself, do some fishing, jump off the pier, enjoy a good day, and then later that night, I was with a mate a couple of weeks ago, and we went to the fantastic Mordialloc Plaza with all the restaurants that were open on a Thursday night. Like plenty of options, but we decided on Morty Pizza and Pasta because I had a really
Okay.
good memory of. Yeah, I had a really really good memory of having it 1 or 2 times, like maybe 5 or 6 years ago, like way before COVID. And man, we got our money's worth. That was so good. They were
Yeah.
doing the pizzas like proper traditionally, like with the dough. They would like kind of twirl the dough up in the air and have it on the flat pizza trays. It was proper good pizza, and yeah, again, great service, great atmosphere, and just really chillax. Like it was so good that the next day I gave him a 5 stars on Google review, and I never really do the Google star ratings, but yeah, it was brilliant. So that pizzas at the beach, after the beach, right on the plaza, that's the summer life for me right there, right now.
Yeah, 100%. And it's nothing better, getting your money's worth and knowing that, the quality of food is top notch. So that's awesome. And, being Italian, pizzas, it's massive for us. So we know what's a good pizza and what's a shit pizza. So for me, if it's too much oil and it's just leaking on the pizza box and you can really feel like the pizza's oily, that's when it's ruined. But it's when it's really, I guess, fluffy and crunchy as well. There's really nothing better, is there?
Yeah, not at all. It reminds me, I still got to have you over for homemade pizzas.
Yes, and we would definitely organize that, and that will be fun for sure.
All right, last few questions, and then we'll wrap this episode up.
Yep.
All right, so what I'm very, we can talk for hours, but we will wrap this up because I'm conscious of the time as
Yes.
we, get on with our day and enjoy the weekend while it lasts.
Yes.
So I was very impressed recently when you were describing your nonno at 93 years old, still very
Yep.
fit for his age.
Yep.
Do you care to describe some of the independence that he still has at the amazing age of 93?
Yeah. No problem. Yeah. So at his age, he's definitely physically very good for his at his age at 93. Looks after himself. Always eats the right food and always has his independence. I remember it was last year we took him out fishing, and when we were at the boat ramp, Nonno was able to get into the boat by himself, and that was when he was 91 or 92. And you can imagine at that age, there's no one really that can do that. Climbing off the ladder off the pier into the boat is quite remarkable. And then vice versa, when we're finished fishing and going into going back to the boat ramp, Nonno climbing the actual ladder onto the pier at that age is quite remarkable, and it just shows how good his health is. And of course, at that age you're always going to have some little niggles as you do get older, but he still drives and he still loves to go to his shopping, his groceries, and he's still wants to have that independent, and of course his veggie garden is massive for him. It's always been a big part of his life, and growing fresh fruit and vegetables. And my nonno takes pride on he's been independent because he's always been like that, and I'm exactly like him. We're quite neat and quite neat people, and we like things in our particular way. And I've definitely inherited that trait from him as well. So yeah, I just think the quality of still driving at his age is quite remarkable.
Mate, that's fantastic inspiration.
Yeah.
This is hearing these stories, seeing how fit he was, like climbing up and down the ladder and onto the boat and doing all that in his 90s, still enjoying the fruits of life as best he can at that age. That is exactly why I lean towards the positive stories in life in older age, as opposed to, we always hear about, when you get older, this and this starts hurting and you're going to have to worry about this and that and yada, yada. It becomes like this whole depression setting up for your funeral. By the end, the amount of negativity that's associated with age,
Yeah.
depending on who you talk to. But I love hearing these stories because he's a guy that's looked after himself. He's eaten well. He's still fit for his age at 93. I think that's very remarkable, and that is exactly what I hope to gain through this Fight the Devil following. Is that you lean towards these type of positive stories, these inspirations. You can still enjoy a quality life. Obviously, you have to have a bit of luck as well. It has to go your way. Like, we can do all the right things and shit still can happen for us. But this example you provide us, Jezza, is fantastic, and wish him all the best in the quality of life that he still has to live.
Thanks, Lygon. I appreciate it. It's always happy to share my experiences, especially with my grandparents, and it's been a great talking point.
Happy I brought her up, and happy that you yeah, you discussed it during the week, so we had that to bring up. Now we're going to discuss self inward pressure, which I know like many wogs, depending on what we've gone through, have felt this way. I know from personal experience growing up as a wog in the modern day, I put a lot of pressure on myself to feel like I could uphold all these legendary qualities of this dying breed. And look, I've had many emotional moments privately where I've had like a pinge of self-doubt, reflecting on whether I'll be as big of a legend as all the Zias, Dios, and nonnies that have believed in me. I'll tell you what, though, after everything I've been through and all the amazing everyday feedback that I receive from family, friends, and peers, I know that I'll pay all the purity, the wholesomeness, and the culture going forward with the legend that I am today at 28, and I have more of the same faith in you, Jezza, at 26 years old.
Thanks, Lygon. I appreciate it. That's all you want to do. You just want to you want to follow in their footsteps and be the best version of yourself and pass on to the to the new generation to come and share our experiences and our qualities with them.
Definitely is. As we wrap this up, I just want to ask you as well, what are your plans when it comes to going to Italy and seeing it all in person?
Yeah, just to experience everything. So can't wait to go to Rome. That's the main tourist destination. But just to understand, everything that happens there, where it's our tradition, and definitely want to learn a little bit more of the language as well, which is important as well. But I know, my brother's been there, and he said that you can go by, with speaking English, but it's really still important to learn the language. So definitely just can't wait to experience everything. The food and just the culture and everything that comes with it. Just can't wait just to experience everything. Yeah.
Yeah, I reckon you'll love it. You'll fit right in. It'll be an
Yeah.
eye-opening experience. It'll be a complete experience for you, I reckon as well, because we hear all these stories, and then you haven't, from what I gather, you haven't been there yet. So you going over there, I guarantee coming out, you'd already be booking your next holiday back over there to reconnect with all
Yeah.
the Italian community and culture.
Definitely, and especially visiting the amazing churches over there, and some of the artwork is quite remarkable. You just won't see, that often. It's you're seeing how big the churches are and everything. I can't wait to visit that as well.
Oh, plenty of churches.
Yeah,
Through experience of when I went over, say, yeah, we almost saw we visited one of the big impressive churches at least once a day, just because
yeah,
there's so many of them in the 2 weeks that I went to Italy in 2019. Yeah, we did see a lot, and very historical as well. But if you go to Rome, no doubt you would see the Vatican. Maybe,
yep,
hopefully, depending on the day, the Pope might even be there
yeah,
doing a ceremony.
yep,
I did do that in 2011 with my family, and
yep.
my wife actually got to meet the Pope
Right.
a
Okay.
few years ago.
Yep.
That was surreal for her, but
Yeah.
no doubt you'll experience your own surreal experiences when you're over there. And I got my European summer locked in for next year, so I'm almost
Okay.
counting down the days from there.
Just,
I'm 6 weeks. I'll be enjoying that for sure.
just every day, just see the countdown. That will be an unreal experience for you, Luke. So I can't wait to hear all about it when you do go, and then when you do come back, because Italy's is a beautiful place, and it's when it's summer over there, it's summer. It's hot. So what I've heard, it's definitely hot. Like I said, I just can't wait to experience all the food and family, and just finally, hopefully soonish, to see the real thing, and that's going to Italy, seeing what it's really like.
Yeah, absolutely. And our best experience we've had together, I'd say, was the sneak peek of Italy was through the enjoying the mini slices of salami that
Yes,
time.
yes, that was beautiful. I'll never forget that. It's just yeah, just sort of just brought back our experiences as well. People making the salami. It was the best. Never forget that. That was awesome.
I never forget your reaction. I think I almost made you cry.
Yeah, I swear I had a tear come down my eye. I just felt like I was born again. I don't know, like, um, it was I don't know, it was something in it. It was just it wasn't dry. It was just I don't know, it was just perfect. It had a bit of moisture to it as well, so it was, yeah, bloody fucking fantastic, Luke.
I agree, Jezza. I was really hoping we could have that moment together, to share that experience, because like I've done drugs before, but
Mhm.
man, this was better than drugs. This was pure. This was the ultimate experience for us second generation Italians, and I'm very fortunate that my nonna can still do that. You know, have the salami hanging from the garage roof,
Yep.
typical wog garage, and yeah, like I'm hoping we do it again next year. She surprised me that we were going to do it again, because she's getting on with age as well, like 88, and
Yeah.
struggling to see with her vision, and really deteriorating in health at the moment, which is unfortunate. But it was a very big surprise when she told me that she was going to do it through the help of my parents, and she did it because of me, because she knows I love it so much. So,
Yeah.
and I
And
love her.
which is fantastic. And they at the end of the day, they do it for us. You know, they love their grandchildren and,
Yeah,
and we love them in those.
yeah,
You just got to enjoy every moment, whether that's making the sauce or the salami or just, just being in their presence, especially at that age. They just want to feel comforted and just, to be around the people that they love, which is, really important. And I just wanted to touch on Luke Boo, as well.
yeah.
We can't forget about the classic Italian kitchen in the garage. Everyone knows about that. Being brought up, the kitchen in the garage will be used more than the kitchen in the actual house, which is
It's true.
it is true in the Italian household. The kitchen in the garage is the main event. It's where it's in most use, whether that's with cooking pasta or anything at all. Hanging out is the best, and I think that's one of the best traditions. Being in the Italian household is cooking in the garage. What is it like for
Yeah,
you, Luke?
man. Oh yeah, now that you brought that up, I'm glad you brought that up, because I didn't have it on my papers here. But yeah, garage was awesome. It was many beautiful meals were had in the garage. Cooking a lot. Like I was still cooking a couple months ago, doing the classic Christmas donuts.
Oh
Um,
yes.
that we all still participate in, and there's nothing like having it on the day as well. Just absolutely fantastic. But some of the best memories, or the cooking in the garage, was my nonna had the best dish of doing like the potatoes on the fry pan with the oil and the fried egg, and
Oh
sometimes
yes.
combining it into a big plate of like egg and potato mixture.
Yep.
Holy shit. It was stuff to die for.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. 100%. It just hits different when it's cooked in the garage, which is you'll never forget.
No, no, and she even did that to surprise me one time. Like I was during the COVID years, I was working from home, and yeah, I've mentioned that my nonna is lives next door. Like there was one day, I was generally like not too happy, still working from home because as these lockdowns continued, and then she happily surprised me by doing that potato and fried egg mixture as big as the plate. Came over and just surprised me and put it on my desk for lunch, and that was beautiful.
Yeah.
Never forget it.
Yeah. And it's just, those little moments that, you'll treasure forever. And everyone has their moments and experiences, and that's the beauty of being part of an Italian family.
Oh, 100%. 100%. And it's like those moments as well that I try to remind her that she's still all the strength and resilience and all the giving that she has done. Like at the moment, she's gone through a real rough patch
Yep.
where she's like lacks the self belief,
Yep.
mainly because her independence has been stripped down and has to rely on everyone to get from A, B, and C. And she had a lot of difficulties when raising her own kids. As I mentioned, her son and daughter passed away well before the age of 30. So I think at the moment that all that's really coming back to her, as well as being a widow for the last 25 years. So she is suffering in her old age about a life that could have been, and now it's up to us grandkids to remind our nonni that you are a legend. You are
Yeah,
everything you've done, the roads that you've travelled to get to Australia, to do everything that you did. You are a legend, and you will always be a legend for the rest of the history of life.
that's it. That's it. And you've summed it up perfectly. They discipline their children, but they bring them up the right way. They mold their children into perfect men and perfect women as well. So and respect is a big thing. And like you said, the obstacles they had to face to get to Australia and start a new life, it just makes them the perfect role models, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, still learning from her all these years later, and I will continue right to the very end.
Yeah, 100%. It's you can never, I guess, not wanting to hear those experiences. You always want to learn different things and what they had to face, especially in the 50s and the 60s. You always learn different things for sure.
A lineage to be paid forward for generations. And I say, with wrapping this up, I've got a few reserved Italian dad jokes to end this episode on a high.
Oh, perfect. Let it rip, Luke.
Yes. Yes. Uh,
The main
I've
event.
been thinking to myself, main event is all leads. Any Fight the Devil listeners know that it's time for some dad jokes.
Here we go.
I'm thinking to myself, I want to open an all-you-can-eat Italian restaurant. I'd call it Endless Pastabilities.
I got that one. Why not?
Play on
Why
words
not?
there.
You can just have an
Yeah.
endless buffet of Italian food. Why not?
Yes, yes. Of pasta in particular. I tell people it's a meal I've had every day for the last 25 years.
Yeah, 100%. You can never get annoyed from it for sure.
We've got another one here.
Yeah.
What did our parents do to kill boredom before the internet?
What did they do?
Well, I asked my 10 brothers and sisters and they didn't know either.
It's so true, isn't it? That's a good one. That's actually a really good one. Oh shit, that was good. I love it. I love it, Luke. That's a very good one. Love it.
And last Italian one here. So we all know anyone that's picked up Italian or wogs in general, but mostly Italians, we love to use our hands when talking. So what's the worst job for a talkative Italian?
Um. What is it?
A surgeon.
That's so true. Oh, I'm gonna write that one down. That is good. I like that. I love how you get all these jokes, Luke. They finish it on the perfect note. Oh, I like that one. The
Oh,
last
hell
2 were
yeah.
good. That was good. I love it.
Yeah,
Love
be
it.
sure to share that one at dinner with the family tonight.
Why not? Why not? I'm gonna write that one down. That's for sure. That's perfect.
Oh, great. Well, look, I got only one thing left to say is that, Jez, look, I only wish I got to know you earlier in my life. With our Italian root history runs deep. And overall, you're just such a nice guy, an even better friend. And I know we won't have any trouble keeping in touch going forward, regardless of how our lives end up.
Likewise, Luke. It was a pleasure being on the podcast today, and yeah, we're gonna be great friends for the years to come, and we'll always be in contact. Whether that no matter how busy life will get, you always make room for your friends and your family, and today was fun, and thank you again.
That's right, Jezza. It's been lots of fun. Look forward to the the contact going forward. A few more kicks to the footy. Have you over for dinner.
That's
A
it.
few more salamis to share, and just a lot more laughs still to be had.
100%, and I can't wait for footy season as well. That'll be great.
Yeah. So we didn't get to chat about footy this time, just because conscious of how long we've gone on today's episode. But we'll save it for next time.
Next time, that will be a great talking point. Sorry, and yeah, we'll go from there.
Yes, already setting up the next episode here, the Carlton and Collingwood history.
We'll have to save that one for another time, but wouldn't that be mouth-watering, the Carlton Collingwood rematch?
Well, it is known that every Italian either go for Carlton or Collingwood, so perfect match right here.
That is. It's very true. Being brought up in the Italian household, it's either Carlton or Collingwood, and the rivalry speaks for itself, does it?
It does, and all we heard for the longest time was the rivalries in the 70s, 80s, all the premierships, all the grand finals. They both teams played alongside each other, but I dare say the rivalry has been definitely renewed in the last 3 or 4 outings, without a doubt.
Yeah, 100%. I think the last couple of years, it's definitely ignited the ignition, the Carlton Collingwood rivalry, and going to those games as well. It's there's really, through that winter time, there's no better feeling. A packed G, 100,000. There's no other place you would rather be than be in the centre of the MCG. That's it. That's all you want.
Both clubs doing very well. They got very good coaches, great lists, and fingers crossed with these injuries that hampered both clubs at the start of last year. Let's hope for a modern day Collingwood Carlton grand final.
100%, 100%, and wouldn't that be one of the biggest things in Australia to happen again? A Carlton Collingwood grand final. I think that would definitely stop the nation. That's for sure. So
yes,
that will be good, and hopefully one day that will happen.
Yes. Oh, yes, and there'll be a lot to unpack in the lead up to that too. So, now, great episode today, Jezza. I'm gonna go have some lunch now and enjoy the rest of the weekend, and we'll see you very soon next week.
Perfect. Thanks for having me. We'll see you soon.